for that short version. Let me see if I can keep it like that. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My story is about cars that they stopped making. Isn't that horrible? You got a car and they stopped making it? They did after the Saturn, from me going around interviewing people about this situation. But guess what I learned today? Woo! I feel much better. The federal government required them to have 7 years of supplies and parts available for those cars that they have taken off the market. And that's a good thing. But let me tell you how I felt when I first found out. I went to the auto show and I couldn't wait to talk to the guy at the Volvo. You know, Volvo is a Swedish-made car too. And so is this Saab that I've been driving for 20 years now. This is my second Saab. So you know I fell in love with it. You all know anybody who loves Saabs? Yeah, So I fell in love with this car. And it's a Swedish-made car. And it's durable and safe. Somebody told me someone was in a big crash and they walked away without a scratch. I said, yeah, that's the car I want to be in. So then, I went to the auto show. I noticed I've been receiving in the mail things like, they're not going to offer any warranty for your Saab anymore. I said, what are they talking about? Some of the dealers say, we'll give you so much money for your Saab, more than the blue book price. I still didn't catch on. Finally, last week at the auto show, the man at the Volvo, I went over. I said, what happened to Saabs? He said, well, we're Volvo, and we're Swedish made, and we still make cars. But Saabs don't make cars anymore. He said, what do you think about General Motors? I said, oh, I used to have a Chevy. He said, General Motors are the cause of the problem that Saab has. I said, what? I went home and got on my computer, and boy, what did I see? General Motors offered to buy Saab in 1999. They gave them 50% on the Saab. And then, in 2000, they gave Saab people the other part of the money. And so now they have Saab. And what did they do with it? Decided it was too expensive for them to keep up. And when a Chinese manufacturer came in to try to buy out Saab, they told them no. They didn't want the Chinese to get ahead in the industry with all this high tech that the Saab offered. And then a company called Spiker, a Dutch luxury car, they came in and they tried to buy it. And the Saab Swedish manufacturer didn't think they could handle the expenses of it. And then another company called Koenigsegg, it was a good match because they are in Sweden and they operate out of an Air Force base. And you know Saab is a brainchild of somebody who was in the airplane business. But none of that went through. And now the news is that my Saab, that I only have 59,600 miles on, been driving it for 10 years. My first one I got in 1988, that I don't have a recourse. So what is a lady to do? What am I to do? I don't know what to do. I'm not going to go out and buy another car. Well, I tried to call Volvo and I asked them how they're going to do on the repairs. So all I could think is I'm just going to go ahead and do my, every 10,000 miles they want you to do a big, what do you call it, inspection, big, I can't even think of the word, I'm so nervous. I'm just shaking. But you know what? When I first heard about this, I was angry. And I read in this book This was a book called Wisdom by Mike Murdock. He said, anger is the birthplace of change. So there's going to be a change made because I am still angry about it. I'm angry about this. And so guess what I'm going to do, you all? Somebody said it might be a little dangerous for me. But I'm buying stock in General Motors. And I just went to the place. They gave me $310. This company, they go square off General Motors. I'm going in Detroit, I'm going to General Motors stockholder meeting. And after General Motors get through bragging about, oh, we've done this, we've done that, so I'm going to get up and say, look, I've been a Saab owner for 20 years. And you know what you did to me? You stopped making the cars. What kind of mess is that? You all are not doing good. You don't consider the consumer? You think they're going to listen to me? Oh, good. But what is a lady to do when the car she has is no longer going to be manufactured? As soon as you find the answer to that, please shoot it over to me, because I'm going to be ready when I go to Detroit and speak at the stockholders meeting of General Motors. Mr. Toastmaster.
Barbara, how's your car, or whatever the full title is? Just wanted to thank you again for the speech. Again, I think I told you last time, you have an incredible stage presence as well. Your humor is invaluable. You just have a way of just having the audience you just have a great sense of humor. And I think we appreciate that as an audience. I also like your vocal variety, your body language. You just did a lot of strong things today. What I thought was good is sometimes I've noticed that you kind of stray off from the topic. This time you still stayed on topic, so I think that's a really, for the most part you stayed on topic, so I think that's a good thing. What I will say for an opportunity is still organize your thoughts. Organize them. Watch out for the small amount of slang or misuse of words or incomplete sentences. But beyond that, I really enjoy
Watch out for what?
Slang or
slang?
Yeah,
slang's not good.
Incomplete sentences, but overall I thought it was a great speech. Thank you for that. How's your car?
Well, Barb, it's a good thing to know the government does some things okay. It's 7 years, go government. Love your humor. Love your humor, and you have this wonderful ability of just being energetic, very engaging. And you have this ability too of sort of asking questions within your speech like you're talking to yourself, but it's so entertaining that I need to learn how to do that. So I love that. I mean, I can always count on variety when you're up there. A few things I would mention. You talked about a crash, and I'm assuming that crash that the person walked away from involved a Saab.
Yeah,
But you didn't really say that.
Oh, okay.
I think I would take that same line and say, girl, you know I was in that crash, but you know what saved me? My Saab.
Oh, okay.
You know, because see, I said, okay, I assume you must be the Saab she's talking about. When you lost your year, don't ever say, you could have just said stopping and looking at your, it was around 1990 something. And just kept it going.
Oh, okay.
After you were riding some parts, you did stray. It's gotten a lot better though. I'll just continue to work on that. And I would have loved to have heard the history of the Saab, because you sort of touched on it a little. That's something to think about. Even a little strong.
You gave a very entertaining speech. There's two steps for improvement. Getting back to the question of the day about knowing your audience, it's sort of a weird audience for a speech about people leading a car. The last time I drove a car was 2006. And it was
2006?
Yeah.
You drove a Saab?
No, I drove a car for the last time I drove a car.
Oh, okay.
And I drove a car in 2005. It was the next to the last time before that. It was last time I drove a car for personal purposes. I do have a driver's license, but living in the city and working where I work, there's not much need for me to be driving a car. So my reaction to what's a lady to do when they don't have a car or something like that is get on the bus or get on the train. That's my first initial reaction to it. They did give a good litany of complaints about General Motors. I was waiting to hear some other ones, but so I don't know if you researched General Motors history or not, but I know General Motors bought up public transportation systems in places like Los Angeles, so people would be dependent on cars. And also General Motors has this great subsidy for the country. They eliminated the Oldsmobile line as well as all I know is the only lines they have left are the Cadillac, Buick, and Chevrolet. They eliminated Pontiac too. So there's other ammunition you might have had about General Motors. Still your speech, even though I don't drive a car on a regular basis, since last time I drove was 2006, it still was entertaining to me. The fact that you could do that in a speech like that shows quite an achievement.
Barbara, one great thing that you really do well is you use the word you a lot, and it's very effective. It pulls people in. Cynthia's mentioned it, Ryan's mentioned it, talked about that. Really affect your energy, your humor. Those are just standard things you just always have available, and you use it very well. Your stories, I notice now, are known and heard. They're known in the sense you have the background of what the problem is. We hear the dialogue. There's still one thing missing. We'll get to that in a little bit. Think about the reference also. You have a reference, a book reference, and you gave the authors the title of the book, which is really great. You can also repeat that. So say it once, say it twice to make sure that the audience gets it. Because references are really nice because people learn something. They get a takeaway from your speech. Thoughts for development of story really is about being seen. And I noticed that you have this habit of you talk to yourself, you talk about this guy or that person or that whatever. We don't see anything about them. So we're kind of forced to try to figure out what's going on. Just a few details. You know, the sharp-nosed dealer, the sharp-faced dealer, or or my annoying friend, or the blonde girl. Whatever it is, a little bit of detail, and then we can put it in our head, and then we got two parts, you and the other person. Otherwise, you have you and this kind of ghost character over there. Bouncing up Bob's idea, think about being relevant. Just think about how do you tie it into people, and acknowledge the obvious. You say, you may think I'm going to go out and start driving some cab. I'm not going to drive a cab. You haven't been listening. I drive a Saab. That's what I drive. I don't drive cabs. I drive Saab. I drive buses. I drive Saab. So acknowledge the obvious and pull people into that sort of thing. And that can help, overcome and say, okay, well, we get it. This is about the Saab issue. Think about stepping out of the story points. How do you feel? All of a sudden, somebody takes away your car. You go outside and your car is gone. Same way I felt. All of a sudden, all my protection is gone in the car. It's like the car was gone, like the car had vanished. So put the audience in a situation where they can really relate and say, whoa, I hate that. You must be feeling awful. I get it. I really get it. And then that'll help them sympathize and also empathize with your situation more. And finally, of course, best thing to do, I know you don't have a solution. This is kind of like an asking for a solution, a speech. But ideally, you have some sort of solution. Here's the problem. Here's how I solved it. Here's how you can solve it too. So just something to think about as you start developing and growing, is thinking about getting that solution there too. When you do find a solution, come back. We'd love to hear about it.